The steel was examined.
But I'm saying, do you accept
the widespread myth that the steel was simply bundled up and shipped away to China or some other place.
It wasn't kept there, was it, Ron?
Not true.
Okay, I don't care about that. Do you accept there's some unanswered questions, Ronald, with Building 7?
Well, that's why we're all waiting for the NIST report. But people like Alex Jones will reject the NIST report without reading it.
Alex Jones, quickly.
That's a different sort of attitude entirely. Yes,
Alex,
people should ask questions.
Alex is going to speak on his own now. Alex.
Yes, just give me a minute here. Infowars.com, prisonplanet.com.
Come on,
Alex. I want people to see the facts. What you've heard, ladies and gentlemen, is disinformation. We do have the firemen, police, medical workers who heard the 10-second demolition countdown. The video is free all over the web. Firefighters saying that there was molten lava steel, 1,800 degree. 3 buildings fell from fire that day, not one, the first 3 in history. We have the NASA and aircraft photos of 2,600 degrees.
Okay.
Jet fuel. It wouldn't melt the people in the holes in the building, but it would melt giant steel columns. And earlier somebody said the government says fires did it. NIST has said 5 different things, had to withdraw all 5, and now they have been looking for 2 years. They were supposed to release 2 years. Hold on, let me tell you, this is key. 2 years. They are now saying in internal documents that have been put out publicly that they're looking at secondary bombs.
Okay.
Buddy, it's all going to come out.
Well, thank you, Alex.
Find out who's financing you.
Thank you, Alex.
Go to prison.
Let's go. Let's fade Alex out for now.
There's a small flaw in his reasoning.
Ronald, I'm a bit confused now. Do people like Alex believe that the CIA was behind the whole of 9/11? What's the logic?
Well, I think you find is that you very rarely get a completely sort of worked out theory of exactly what happened. The who, the why, the how. You get a sort of a suggestion. Basically, that there was a controlled demolition.
But why?
Why? Because you had to sort of justify all the clampdown on civil liberties in the States and also wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
What clampdown of liberties?
Well, that's what I'm saying, Ron. That's what people like Alex would say. I mean, well, we probably ought to hear what Alex says.
I
don't want to hear. We're going to hear a bit more of Alex. But sorry, people like Alex believe that the government was behind the whole of 9/11. Is that where he goes with this?
Well, that becomes the next issue. So exactly who was involved in it? At that point, you don't start to get too many answers, because they say, well, probably it was an inside job. Probably it needed to be an inside job. Well, exactly who then? And what sort of people would it take? How many people would need to be involved in it? And that's when it starts to get very unclear. And I've not seen it. I've not seen a very fully worked out theory on that. You don't. What you get is the questions. You get lots of suggestions of witness statements saying things that possibly might have happened. But often when you get there, it turns out they aren't quite that. They've been selectively edited to say something.
Mark in Dorset says Neil and Buzz Aldrin did land on the moon, but photos used to celebrate the fact were taken during rehearsals in the US. The quality and composition was better than any of the pictures taken on the lunar surface. That's interesting. Neil Denny, like that? I'm trying to move on because I've got a headache actually from the 9/11 discussion.
Can I make one quick point about
Ronald?
World Trade Center 7?
Oh, please, quick.
Conspiracists keep fabricating these fabulous tales about molten lava and whatnot. They don't quite understand that shaped charges do not heat the structural steel. They knock it aside. In other words, you can set off a shaped charge and put your hand on the spot. It's not hot. They overlook that rather minor detail.
Hey, Ronald, I think that there was a second shooter involved in JFK's assassination. Do you believe that?
No.
Okay. It's just, even recently the Italian army did tests on a similar gun, didn't they? It's how it couldn't be reloaded that quickly, and the war...
Well, that's precisely wrong.
Well,
we had a 90-year-old gentleman using the Mannlicher Carcano for the ABC special on the assassination.
Yeah, no, I heard
he was able to get off the 3 shots in 6.3 seconds.
I know, but there were lots of people who then questioned the... I can't remember now the details.
Well, they're going to question anything.
Well, the Italian army, they might ABC News, tested this gun and it couldn't be reloaded that quickly. It just seems to me that of all of them, the Warren Commission didn't seem that thorough, and there were plenty of reasons why, or there were plenty of enemies out there, plenty of motives.
Well, sure, there are things wrong with the Warren Commission report, but if you read Gerald Posner's book, if you read about Lee Harvey Oswald, you'll never doubt that he was the shooter.
No, I think it was him and someone else. Neil Denny. Quite a closing comment on anything you like. You got about 10
on
seconds.
that particular point.
If
Well,
you like.
I just, I think the assassination of a president is something that's you would have thought was so important that they would definitely have wanted to get to the bottom of
There
it.
might be too many can of worms. Who knows? I mean, look, it's just there was the Warren. As I say, there's just something about the Warren Commission, and I frankly believe the Italian army when they say they couldn't reload the gun in that time, and that came out in the last few months. Mike, we've got to go. Alex Jones. We didn't hear any more from Alex Jones, but I didn't want to have to take any more paracetamol, so it's not the end of the world.